Yes, so my name is Rebecca Bassett and I'm a trainee legal executive here at Walcombe Young Solicitors.
Lovely. What can you tell us about Wilcombe Young?
It's a reasonably small firm, high street firm in Plymouth. I've been here for about 9 months and I work within the family department, but my role is predominantly with the childcare team. So I work with families who have got social services involved, and that can be for a variety of reasons, such as child neglect, alcohol and substance misuse and non-accidental injury. So my area of law really specialises on working with parents who have that involvement with the local authority.
Great, thank you. What's the typical week in the life of a Silex professional like?
It really varies every single day. Every day is different. Every hour is different, actually. My role is really busy, as you can imagine, because it's quite a sensitive subject matter. I'm dealing with parents who have essentially lost their children, and maybe their children are in foster care, or maybe their children are with family members because for whatever reason the parents of the children can't look after them anymore. So it's a really highly sensitive subject matter. So naturally the clients will have a lot of questions. So a lot of the time I'm dealing with them on the phone. Sometimes they need to come into the office. There's a lot of court hearings as well. So every day is different. I'm doing lots of statements. Maybe I'm in court, considering complex legal documents as well and medical reports, and then trying to consolidate those reports into language that a client will understand and then give them appropriate advice about it. So it's always very busy.
Yeah, and a really wide range of use of skills there as well, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit now about your career and your development. Why did you choose the legal sector?
I chose the legal sector. Well, before I went to Plymouth University, I couldn't decide. I thought I either want to be an English teacher or I want to be a lawyer. And I decided to go with the legal sector because I think it's something that is every day, it develops, it changes. And I think people don't realise that the law affects every single person on every single day, really. Whether you need to draft a will or a prenuptial agreement, or if you're getting divorced, if you're buying or selling a property and you need to conveyancing services. Even every single day, the media, what we see on television, everything that we see and do in every walk of life is regulated by the law. So that end, I thought there's always going to be jobs in the legal sector, and it's a sector that is constantly developing, it's constantly changing, which I'm interested in.
Fantastic. And what drew you to Silex training in particular? Because there's so many different ways you can train. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So at university you're kind of steered towards doing the legal practice course when you graduate, but unfortunately Plymouth University, which is where I did my LLB, they stopped doing the LPC in 2013, I think. So the closest place to do it is Exeter or Bristol. And for me, doing the LPC was not affordable. It was very expensive, and also to incur travel and overnight costs was just extortionate. So I decided that I wanted to get some practical experience in the legal sector before I take the next step to qualify. So I've been working predominantly in paralegal roles for the last 4 years, and in that time I've researched Silex, and I thought that was a much more affordable option for me, and it's very flexible. Even though it's long distance, you kind of get out what you put in, and I've been doing it since January and I've been enjoying it.
And are you on the graduate level Silex programme?
Almost. So
right.
Because I've got my degree, I'm on the course I'm currently doing is called the Graduate Fast Track Diploma.
Right.
So at the moment my Silex grade is associate. Once I finish my exams I'll be a graduate, and then after that I'll be able to do what's called, I think it's qualifying employment, do that for a period, and then I will be a full legal executive.
Fantastic. What's the greatest challenge of being a Silex trainee in particular?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sorry.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay, right, so let me just see if I put a note on it.
Or in your role, maybe the kind of greatest, the biggest thing. I suppose juggling your study with work might be a big challenge.
Oh yeah, no,
Do you
absolutely.
want to ask that question again when Rebecca's ready?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I shall ask you. I'll ask you again and nobody will ever know. Okay. What's one of the greatest challenges you find in your role as a Silex trainee?
I think the greatest challenge can be juggling work with study, because the area of law that I do is so busy, and it's a lot to keep up with on a daily basis, so trying to squeeze in studying at the same time can be a challenge. Equally, the role in my department itself is challenging, because often I'm speaking to parents who are a lot older than I am, who may not want to listen to what I have to say to them, may not be accepting of my advice. So that's why I like to take the time to really get to know a client, get to know what their end goal is, because I think clients will have a lot more respect for you if you understand their case and understand their wants and what they want to achieve in the end.
Okay, thank you. On the flip side then, what's the greatest success of being in your role?
Well, I think success in the role comes in a variety of formats. I think, like I said, because it's about understanding what a client wants to achieve in a particular case. A lot of my clients have alcohol or substance misuse problems or mental health issues and anxiety. So for them, taking the step to engage with their GP, for example, or attend Harbour, which is a drug and alcohol service in Plymouth, for them, attending services such as those, that is a success for them, and for them to recognise that taking a step in the right direction and reducing perhaps their dependency on drugs or alcohol, for them that's a success. So in turn for me, for them to help their case, that is a little success, I guess. Yeah.
Right. It's life-changing, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you think the key qualities somebody who's going to train in Silex needs?
I think you need to be self-motivated. For some people, I was quite worried after my degree, which is quite intense. You obviously have lectures and tutorials. To go from that to studying long distance, I was a bit apprehensive about. But I think you get out what you put in. You need good self-motivation. If you've got a good employer behind you, and my team are very good as well, they're very flexible, and also to not shy away from asking questions. I know in my modules, if I've got a question that I'm a bit stuck on, even though I don't have a lecturer per se that I could go to, I could ask somebody within the firm and ask them their opinions and get some ideas from them. So I think it's about being self-motivated, but also having your own initiative to work things out and be a team player as well.
Great, thank you. And finally, around your career development, what's your plans for your future career?
Well, I hope to obviously qualify as a legal executive in the future. I would very much like to continue my role in the firm in the childcare team. I would like to be partner in the firm one day, and I'd like to supervise trainees in the future as well, because I think I've been in their shoes and I can hopefully give them some appropriate advice. One day I'd like to maybe be in the judiciary or work for the government legal department, but who knows?
Who knows? Fantastic.
Yeah.
So how did you find out about Silex as a training route? Because you mentioned it's not often that well talked about, but it's a great route. So how did you find out about it?
Well, in my final year at Plymouth University, we had a careers talk, and various people from the legal sector came in to talk to us about their roles, and there was one lady there who was a Silex professional who I actually work against now in my current role, and that was probably the first time I'd really heard about the Silex route, and I think it's a really great, affordable and flexible route to go down. And I think it's really well recognised in the Southwest. I'm not sure what it's like on a national level, but certainly at firms locally, there are a lot of Silex lawyers who are considered to be on the same level as solicitors and aren't considered any different, which I think is really important.
Yes, I agree. There's partners who are Silex trained, managers, so yeah, absolutely. Just briefly, what are the steps for a student who's thinking, I might take this, what are the steps you need to go through to be, for your training?
For Silex
Yes,
training.
for Silex.
So after you graduate, you can go on I would definitely recommend having a look on the Silex website to see what options are available to you, because if you're a graduate, you can enter on level 6 of Silex, which means you've got your degree and you can do the graduate fast track diploma. And what that means is you need to do 2 practice units and then a client skills unit. And then you can spread that across however long you want. You can do your exams within the space of a year or longer if you need to, because of family or work commitments, which I think is really useful. And then you can carry on and do, like I said, the graduate route and qualify as a legal executive. But there's lots of information available online. I definitely recommend for students to attend careers fairs and also get in touch with local professionals, try and get some work experience in local firms, because that way you will meet a variety of people, whether that be admin assistants, legal assistants, paralegals, solicitors or Silex professionals, and pick their brains. I think is definitely the best way to do it.
That's great advice. It's so wide and varied, people working with Silex, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And finally, whilst you were studying at the university, what did you get involved with that helped you kind of boost your career planning?
I got involved in quite a lot actually. I was an active member of the Law Society at university, and I participated in mooting competitions, debating and negotiation competitions. I then also participated in client interviewing competitions, and I think I was runner-up, and then we represented the university at the regional client interviewing competitions and came third, and then we represented the university at the national client interviewing competition as well. I also represented the university doing the national advocacy competition, which was really useful because I'm really passionate about advocacy and that's what I want to do in the future. And I just participated as much as I possibly could really, and I also did work experience at local firms and did a mini pupillage at barristers' chambers as well, which was extremely valuable.
Yeah. So my little additional question is, how did you manage your time?
Well, I think it's difficult. I think you need to have a vision of what you want in the long term. I think sometimes it's really easy, especially as a student, to get a bit sidetracked. And even though I did all of those things, I still enjoyed my student life. You know, I wasn't just tied up in studying all the time and doing work experience. I think it's really important to have that balance. And family is really important to me, and I find still that exercise is really important to try and like relieve all of the stresses of daily life. So I think it's just about having good time management, which people always say to students, and you know, realizing that what you're working for now, you will reap those results, whether it might not be immediately but definitely in the future. And I think it's about having that vision of the future, put in what you want to get out in the future, I guess.
That's very good advice.
Thank you.
Do you have any final things you'd like to share with students who are maybe sat watching now and they're, you know, studying?
Just work hard. I mean, sometimes I think now I'd like to go back to university and do more than I did. Right. Whereas at the time, I think I actually did quite a lot. And like I say, just think about that long-term goal. What do you want to do? But also don't be fazed by it. I know at university, even I was questioning myself. I thought, am I a legal professional? Can I really do it? And having that self-confidence in yourself. But, you know, the more work experience I did, the more people I met, and the more work that I did, the more I realised actually I can do it. And, you know, having that confidence will really make a big difference in your legal career.
Just got to believe in yourself.
Absolutely,
sometimes.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That's absolutely brilliant. I think you'll have helped lots of people with your advice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.